Welcome back everyone to Web Gaming Entertainment. My name is Walter and I'm with you with another update for Tech Executive Tycoon, and we're getting so very close to the end. It's quite nerve-wracking at this point for me because it's been such a long road, and there's plenty that I in the way of the HUD that I have to add in. So there's just a few more things that's going to probably take me about another month or two. So I'm going to be giving a solid release date, I'm gonna say, in the next few weeks. I know I gave the window about a month ago or so, and that window, it was between June and September or October. Very big window, as you can imagine, because this last month of what we've done, which I'm gonna just tease a little bit of in this video in just a moment, a lot of what we've done, it was, the timetable was very or heavily predicated upon that process, and we're still fine-tuning a lot of what was done this past month. So let's talk about what was done this past month. Everything was artificial intelligence, AI, and some more AI. Try to say that fast. Either way, that's been the big focus of for the month of April, and I just want to showcase a little bit of that, because with the AI, it's all behind the scenes. You get to see it, of course, and it's going to manifest in different ways in the gameplay. But right now, the biggest way to see some of the things that was put in is through menus and statistics and things like that. Now, so I can explain to you what I'm going to show you today, let's just talk a little bit about that real quick. I actually had to throw in some makeshift windows, as you can see this one here, of some of the companies that I put in the game already. And what I did was I kept it to 10 for the sake of testing, because I want to make sure I didn't overwhelm myself by having nearly 100 companies in the game trying to troubleshoot different things. So I figured I'd just put 10 in and make sure they're all operating according to plan. And so we'll start here, and this little window I put, this is not going to be a window that's going to be in the final game. It's a debug window. As you can see, open, close, debug window. It's this particular test debug window. So we're gonna play around with this a little bit, and then I also actually added some data in here inside the map window. So we're gonna kind of look at some things on here and see exactly how the AI is actually functioning throughout the game, and I'm going to talk a lot about that because these are only two ways I can show you right now. I have a lot of UI to add in for this, so unfortunately I don't have it in yet, so I can't really show you a very wide scope of things. But know that it's in, and it's very exciting for me because I actually watch the coding come to life. For example, actually what I'm about to do is tell you exactly some of the things that I've done and how the AI thinks and how they actually go through their through the game, making decisions and things like that. So but just to let you know, it's gonna be more talking than showing. So of course that's gonna come very soon, because the game is almost done. It's almost there, it's almost ready. It's still some more art assets that have to be added in. It's gonna be pretty crazy. This month and next month is gonna just be really intense. But either way, let's get right to the point. Okay, so this past month, the month of April, the AI, what we wanted to do was make the AI very engaging, very self-dependent, independent, self-reliant, able to evaluate just like the player, so to speak. So let's just talk a little bit about that. As the player, as you can probably imagine, playing a game like this, you're going to be looking at data related to your company, and you're going to make decisions based off that information, based on the sales you make from your products, based on the exposure you have in the different cities that you want to get your product in and sell, the decisions regarding how much product to actually send based on the demand or supply and demand. So it's different things like that that you as a player will be doing to sort of help yourself win. And the interesting thing is the AI is doing the exact same thing. It's not I guess what I want to say is that the AI is not pre-programmed. So every game will be vastly different depending on, first of all, let me actually kind of lead into that conversation right there. So let's start off with some of the basics. Each AI company is its own entity, of course, and in that entity they have their own CEO. So there's two pieces right there that you have to keep in mind. Let's talk about this for a second. So the CEO has quite a few things going for him, because they have him or her, by the way. They have personality, and they have predisposed ways of doing things. So I'm gonna get much more into detail when I finally finish all the the details of that. But right now, the basics of it is in, and the greatest thing is, like I do now, is just a few snippets of code to kind of make that even more robust. But pretty much it goes like this. Each CEO has a propensity to do different things. So some CEOs are more frugal than other CEOs. So what that means is they rather cut corners and spend less as they can, or as much as they need to, without breaking the bank, so to speak. So these type of CEOs would be a little more calculating when it comes to spending. Then you have your other CEOs who really don't care much about that, as long as they are progressing the goals of their company, which typically in business you like to think you have to spend money to make money. And the thing is, you're gonna have different CEOs who, first of all, every CEO wants to succeed. Every CEO, their goal is to continue to get better, as far as market share, as far as where they're standing inside the industry. All that stuff, their goal, every CEO's goal is to win the game, is to be the best company in the game. But they all have different methods of getting there, and that's what I'm trying to get to. So some of those things I've programmed into the CEO, into each of the CEOs, so they all have different personalities, different ways of doing things, and then they work for a company, and that company has different things. Of course, the employees, the executives, the managers, different products, different philosophies. Not so much philosophy, but pretty much everything comes from the CEO. So wherever a CEO works, his personality comes through in the company. So and as you can see in this menu right here, Conduit Circuitry International, I don't show you the CEO's name, but this is just some basic information. This is their budget information, by the way, just some very basic budget information, just their income, expenses, and profit, what their available funds are, salaries, expense, lease, overhead, marketing, shipping. That's just some of the things that you can see right here, right now. But there's many more things that's tied to the budget, which you'll see in the future. But as I said, the CEO, they look at this information just like you look at the information. Of course, like I said, this is a debug window, so not this specific information, but each CEO is fully aware of their budgets. They're fully aware of their products. They're fully aware of how well their products are doing in each and every city. They're aware of how much they've shipped there. Like, for example, if the supply and demand is lopsided either way, the CEO will know about that. So if you got a lot of demand in the city and not enough product, the CEO is going to know. And when it comes time to make their decisions, they're going to take that into account. And if they have the budget for it, they're going to ship product there. Same thing goes in the opposite way. If they have too much product, not enough demand, then maybe that means they need to start marketing more in that area to get more exposure. And if that's the case, well, that's the thing, because there's so many different branches there, because that could be the problem, but it might not be the problem. Maybe you've already exhausted your marketing efforts in that city, and maybe the product is just not gaining that much traction there. As a result, the CEO will know that as well, and they'll make decisions based on that. And that's the beauty of it all, because if you're playing a game like this against another player, you kind of hope that the player is going to be aware of his company and know how to make decisions based on what's going on in the market, things like that. So when you play the AI, you sort of want them to do the same thing. You don't want them to be automatically knowing everything, because they won't know much about you except for the things that get out into the public. And that's a whole other strategy and thing about this game that I can't wait to talk about. But they will know what's publicly available to know, and as a result, they'll possibly make decisions based off that. Like if you're leading the industry, by a long shot, they might take notice of that, or they might not. Who knows? Every CEO has their own goals, and depending on certain criteria, they're going to pretty much focus on how they want to get and achieve their goals. If you start to do different things, which you can, that can gain their attention, then they might change certain things to sort of either catch up to you, or who knows, maybe cut you off, or what have you. Just different things to sort of be competitive. But that's just some of the basics of what the AI and some of the AI pieces that I've added in. Let me actually pause that. Time is just flying by. Right now, what I wanted to do, and the thing is, and I'll talk about this in a minute too, but I'm gonna close this and I'm gonna open up the map window. Okay, I'm gonna jump right into this really fast. With and I think I explained this to you guys before, but when you ship your products or market, and when you market and ship your products, you can market and ship them to pretty much anywhere in the world based on the cities that we're going to have in the game. Of course, there are going to be more, and these, now don't mind me guys, I kind of just threw these cities all over the place. I know they're not geographically accurate as far as their location right now, but we're going to actually go through fine-tuning that. Q&A is the final stage of a lot of pretty much for everything, so I haven't gotten to that yet. So you might see Washington DC completely in the wrong place, San Francisco completely in the wrong place, Lima, Caracas, Johannesburg, all these locations are pretty inaccurate as far as where they're located. So don't mind me, don't judge me for that right now. We're gonna actually get that fixed in the Q&A phase of the development. But I do want to show you guys some pretty awesome stuff here. For example, I don't have any products released as a player in this example that I'm showing you, so you will not see my products there. But I'm going to click on Seattle, and immediately what you see is that these products are the current products on the market in that city, and pretty much these are the only products that are out there. I only have 2 of those 10 companies I mentioned to you. Only 2 of them actually produce CPUs. And at the beginning of the game, I actually sort of programmed them to create a number of products so that they can justify their standing in the world. So, you know, you got a bunch of companies. But one thing I did not do, which you'll see this number here is kind of matching, at least these 3. That's as far as I allowed them to ship products out. So these numbers could be much higher if once I'm done actually fine-tuning some of that stuff. But this still lets you see a little bit of what you can expect pretty much, because each product is going to cater to a different, well, not necessarily, but it can cater to different demographics within the CPU community. So CPU customer community or fan community. And I want to show a little bit of that. So when we clicked on Seattle, we got a little bit of a legend down here to show, not so much a legend, but information down here based on Seattle. Now this is incomplete, it's only one side of information. I got more information I'm going to show you. More information regarding the market share, I forgot the word, I can't think of the word off the top of my head, but market share and things like, just different things that you can use to gauge whether you want to, you know, ship product to this specific city, if you want to put your product out there to compete with these ones that are already there. Just different information that you can use, and as a result, you know, I think that's good information. For example, you know that the total customers in that, total CPU customers, by the way, folks, is 134,919. So that's the full amount of customers you can hope to possibly reach in Seattle. Okay. Of course, these are all fictitious, not anything relating to the real world. This game is completely sandboxed, so don't really look for anything to be realistically accurate, okay? Just want to throw that disclaimer in there. But either way, out of this total customer number, we know that the enthusiastic fans make up more than, or well, close to 50% of that number. Right now we have 85,000 of those fans who are more enthusiastic fans, and the enthusiastic fans are the ones who are very well versed when it comes to technology and CPUs. So these are your, I used to use the word hardcore, but one of the fans of this game gave me a great idea to use enthusiastic fans, so I wanted to throw that in there now. Enthusiastic fans who just live, eat, sleep, breathe CPUs or technology. Then you have your business fans or business customers. I think I'm going to exchange the word fans for customers or potential customers. And what this essentially means is these are the potential business opportunities that you have in that city. Companies who would adopt your product or use your product. So that's what that number represents. Casual fans are just your average casual customers who are, you know, casually interested in or could use your product but not necessarily well versed in it. So these are the ones who are going to be very much more, they're the ones you're going to have to sort of handhold more as far as information and, you know, making sure that your products are very user friendly. But let's look at that real quick, because right now we are looking at all the sales. So right now the Heat Series Inferno, made by Conduit Circuitry, Frost Ice, made by Processors Advocates, I think it is. We're gonna fix that too. Frost Cube, made by Processors Advocates. Heat Series are the Flame. They have the Inferno, the Flame, the Pyre, and the Pyro, I think that's supposed to be, and the Flare. So remember, it's just these two companies that make CPUs. So Each one has 4 products released worldwide, and the other one has 3. But the Frost series is doing pretty good, but the Heat series Inferno is the one that's leading. But that's, you know, I can't be so sure about that because I didn't program them to adjust to the market. For example, just really quick on that, right now it's in the game, but I did not connect that decision-making piece so that they can start shipping products now, because at this point they're out of products in the city. That's really what you're seeing. This is the full amount of products they had in the city. The demand for these products could actually, I'm sure it's sky high. So when the game releases, this is going to trigger that company to say we need to get more products out there and fast. So either way, we won't really know right now which one of these companies are the highest or the best performing, but you can tell that these 3 guys are doing pretty good. But let's look at each one, okay? For the enthusiastic fans, when we click on this is the tab we clicked up here, the Flame is still leading. The Cube is the next one. The Inferno is right behind it. So as you can imagine, this is pretty much an indicator of which product the enthusiastic fans are most thrilled about. And it seems to be a very competitive market because, well, you know, between the Frost Cube and the Flame and the Inferno, because those are the highest selling ones in Seattle. Now if you notice, I'm gonna actually click on Vancouver, and you know, the Flame, as you can imagine just from that, it's obviously a hardcore, or you know, the top of the line as far as you know, technology, is a top of the line CPU. So that one is doing very well throughout the world, it seems. So, and I did program these bigger companies, because the 10 companies I have in the game right now are considered the biggest companies in the, you know, in the game right now. So they are very well established, and so as a result, their products is pretty much everywhere. Okay, so let's go back to Seattle and keep on going. That's the enthusiastic customers. So let's look at the business, which ones they have become a big fan of. And the Frost Cube is where the business customers have found their home, so to speak. So apparently, and it's funny because I like it, because I can't really even show you the details right now because I don't have a window for that, of the actual criteria of each of these things, so you can see what has caused them to like it. But I can actually assume, based on the program that I put in there, of course, the Frost Cube obviously is a very multitasking it's a processor that's good at multitasking, because that's one of the primary requirements for the business customers in this game. They like to do a lot of multitasking, so as a result they want a product that can do that the best. And apparently it must be good on price as well, because typically that's another thing that the business customers are in for. So the Inferno still, actually the Inferno comes up. The Flame, as you can see, it drops to the 6th. So the Flame is just a little bit too much CPU for the business fans. So we look at the casual now, and the Frost Ice does well there too. Actually, it does better there than it even does with the business. So the Frost Ice seems to be a really good CPU, really good all-around CPU, because the Frost Ice is still number 2, at least based on what we're seeing here, with the enthusiastic fans, which is pretty cool. I like that. So in the game, of course, your products will be in here, and if you, depending on how you make them, how well you make them, you know, you'll be able to look at these charts here, or these statistics here, and kind of gauge, you know, how you stand, where you rank amongst the competition. So that's what I wanted to show you guys. But just to continue to talk a little bit more about that, as I was mentioning, with the CPUs, or sorry, with the CEOs and the companies, the AI companies, they're all dynamic. So everything that happens in the game, they have to react to, they have to take into account, which is going to make the game much fun as it goes on, because, you know, sort of unpredictable to some degrees. But I'm pretty sure you guys will start to learn, you know, how different companies think. But the way it's programmed, anything can happen. They can do anything, and the idea is for them not to be predictable. But at the same time, you will find yourself probably more focused on your own products, trying to make sure you watch the trends of what each of these customers like. And that's another beauty of it, because the customers in each group, the enthusiastic fans, the business fans, the casual fans, they have it's like a range of what they find most like for example, when we were talking about the business customers liking multitasking, that is the case, and they will always find that to be the most important, but at different levels per city. And every now and again, as time advances, that can change ever so slightly. However, they probably will always be concerned about multitasking first, but as time in the game continues to go on, different things might change ever so slightly. So that's also going to keep you on your toes, because now you get comfortable saying, well, I'm going to target all the business customers, so let me just make sure all my products are super good at multitasking, and then you might start to let other areas slip, and then when you come to release the product, you might find that although they are concerned about multitasking, you've sort of let them down in other areas where that actually matter. And it's actually the beauty of it is that with every group, everything matters, just at different levels, and so those levels will sort of fluctuate every now and again. So, but I guess what I'm trying to say in addition to that is that with the business customers, you'll never see a situation where the power of the CPU becomes more important than the multitasking. You will never see that situation in the game. However, the power may become more important, and maybe the multitasking drops in importance just a little bit. However, the multitasking is still the most important thing, but it just sort of fluctuates a little bit, and then that means they still want to see a good, powerful product, but different things like that. So just little things to think about, guys. I'm actually working very hard to get the game done. We're almost there. I can't wait to get this into you guys' hands. I know it's been a long time, and I really want to make it great, so that's the reason why it has taken as long as it has. So keep leaving your comments, guys. Keep sharing your thoughts with me. I hope that you do like what you see. There's many more things coming, as you can imagine. There's a lot more windows and information that I have to feed back to you through the UI, and that's what we're going to be focused on big time this month. Of course, finishing up the AI. Still some pieces left undone, so we're going to finish that up. We're going to do the UI. We're going to add the other products in. So as you can imagine, all that's going to take at least 1 to 2 months to really get done, and then fine tune and test it. So just be prepared for maybe another 2 to 3 months of development, and then we'll have this thing out. But again, it's going really good. So when I say 2 to 3, so I'm believing that we're going to be closer to August than we are June on the release date. But again, it's all coming together. We're at the end of we're at the final stretch. Just bear with me, just a little bit longer. I hope you guys do stay up on the updates and the information, so you can know that things are coming along very well. But thank you guys so much for watching this. I hope that you do like what you see. If you have any questions, please don't be afraid to ask. The comment section below here. You can also go to the website, www.techexecutivetycoon.com. I'm on Facebook, under Tech Executive Tycoon, and Twitter as well. Also, YouTube, of course. You can, if you're watching the video there, I think, or you could be watching it somewhere else. But either way, you can reach me, guys. I'll try to make sure I put up some of those links too, so you can see, so that you can stay up to date with everything. So thanks, guys. You guys are awesome. The game is coming very soon. I'm gonna have a solid release date for you in at least a couple weeks to nail down a solid date, and then we're gonna shoot for that date with everything we have, and we're gonna hit it head on. So guys, thanks so much for your time. I'll see you in the next video.